Please go to the diary room.
Every single season and learn everything that there is to know about everybody.
Please make your way to the diary room.
Celebrity, Brandon!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Diary Room, a Big Brother podcast where we're trying to find the best player in Big Brother North American history. BBUS, Canada, Celebrity, OTT, all of the above. Trying to find who's the best player. We're working on finding that answer. Another episode coming at you here today. First, of course, I am Matt here, as always, with Aman. Aman, what's up?
What up? Back in the diary room for some more shenanigans. Excited to be back as always, and we just keep chugging away along.
Yeah,
yes,
shenanigans. Probably the best way to put it when it comes to the first time that we had on our guest today, because some of those matchups from that episode, we still get feedback about today. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But of course, let's bring in our guest. You can't have a Big Brother season start or end without this person. It's Sharon Tharp. Sharon, how's it going?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me back. I thought maybe I polarized some of your patrons with my picks last time.
Just a little bit. Truly, the matchups from your episode are like the top 5 of those that still come up today when people tell us the ones they disagree with.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Let me just start with that since we're talking about it.
Yeah, let's go down memory lane.
Of course, want to talk about like some BB27 and just catch up with you, Sharon. But just to like look back on it for anyone who wasn't with us, August 6th, 2024, at the time this first episode came out, the first matchup was easy. It was BB21 Bella versus Amanda Zuckerman from BB15. Straightforward, Amanda's the better player. Mm-hmm. After that, Sharon, we got into Lawan versus Indy. And we all sent Lawan through. And by we all, I mean you two. I voted for Indy. You both voted for Lawan.
And I stand by it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Indy, I still struggle.
Where is she?
Yeah.
Right. Look, I don't disagree now that it's in the rearview mirror, but at the time I didn't vote for her. Lawan's going to be in round 2. Like, that's fun. That's funny.
It is. You know, I mean, he always thought he'd get some kind of special power. He found it with us.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then after that, we said, all right, we're already getting crazy here. We're going to get even crazier. And that was the Raven Walton versus Jack from Big Brother 4 matchup. And Raven went through. And lives were changed.
I'm still trying to get her on my podcast. I need her on my podcast.
Is that not working out? Are we not getting in contact?
I haven't like used other people to get to her because I'm like, I don't like to do that if I can avoid it. But she just doesn't look at my DMs. And I'm like, girl, I need you on my podcast.
That will be like higher viewed than any winner retrospective, anything. Like the Raven interview in 2025. We need it.
Yeah,
I tell Rob all the time that's like the shining achievement in his journalistic career is that interview with Raven in the backyard.
And imagine him like thinking that was going to be one of the highlights, you know, after all these years and accomplishments. Your top viewed video, I think, is you talking to Raven about Kool-Aid. Journalism.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we're all starving for just more Raven content. I just want to like see what she's up to these days. Like, what does someone like that have going on in their life right now? I need to know.
And luckily for us, we'll have the opportunity to continue to explore whatever that is when we get to round 2 in due time. But anyway, we're here today to pull 6 more players. But Sharon, of course, since the last time we talked, we've not only been through the rest of BB26, but, you know, BB27. So just generally, what do you think about this season of Big Brother, season 27?
I have mixed thoughts. I really did enjoy watching it as a fan. I think honestly, I liked it more than the last few seasons. I was at least engaged up until the very end. Probably being shorter also helped. Like BB25 nearly killed me going into Thanksgiving. So I actually really enjoyed this season. I know people said the cast wasn't strategic. I don't watch Big Brother to have all strategic cast. I like entertainment too. So for me, that's a factor. I understand some people don't like that. That's fine. I enjoyed it. I think there were a rough couple months in terms of covering it that were hard for me. But overall, like, I really liked Big Brother 27. Again, do I think it's the most strategic cast? No, but from an entertainment standpoint in real time, I liked it. On a rewatch, I'm not sure how it will hold up. So ask me in like a year again. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, did the episode? I don't know if the episodes like truly captured, like especially in the back half of the season, the Vorgan of it all. I mean, after the Rachel situation, of course, we're all sitting there thinking, maybe we're just gonna stop watching and keep watching, and then it's like it's really the feeds and the Vorgan of it all on the feeds that keep you going.
That's
what
why I
I
don't
think.
know.
Go
Sorry,
ahead, Jim.
Mana. I was just gonna say that's why I don't know if it's gonna hold up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I'm also a little concerned because I didn't really get a chance to like really dive into the season, and I really want to go back and watch all the episodes. I've only seen 2 out of the entire season, and I already know how the edited cuts can sometimes come off. So I'm like, am I really going to get everything? So I guess I just got to gear up to literally watch every single one of Terrence's updates
Oh my
alongside
gosh.
the episodes at this point.
Commitment.
just
'Cause-
about. I mean, I think Rachel flew past you in catching up on the updates. As far as I saw, she was saying she's seen the updates already.
Damn. All right,
Research
well,
queen.
Yeah.
I guess I'll watch them on double speed, and some of them I can probably skip because I feel like there were some weeks where I was like kind of dialed in more than others. But for the large part, yeah, I definitely have to watch at least all the episodes for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of Rachel, Sharon, you've gotten to talk to let me quiz myself. I know you talked to Rachel, Morgan, and I feel like there was one more.
Me too. And I'm like,
Well, you've talked to some of the players postseason. Have you gotten any
Yeah.
like major takeaways from getting their perspective that you can think landed with you?
no, and that's the thing people want, right? They want the, oh my God, I didn't know that, or oh my God, this. And I don't know if there's a lot of that this season. So, like, to be honest, I don't think it was like the most groundbreaking post season. Rachel, I loved my Rachel interview, actually. I thought she was super insightful. Morgan, we walked through her game a little bit. People weren't thrilled that she didn't watch the season back 10 days after, which
Right.
I find really odd. Like, again, I just think
lived it.
it's a traumatic experience. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be like, let me dive into this. I think it's, there's different people. But yeah, Morgan, I want that Vince interview. Like, that's what I want. I just
We're
want to
all
talk to
waiting.
Vince. So
He's
other
in.
than that, though, I'm wrapped on the season. So yeah.
Yeah. I
Amon,
mean, I feel like
yeah.
people, I think it's a lot easier for some house guests to go back and watch it for more reasons than one. Some of them, had a positive experience, so they want to go back and relive it all. Some of them just won a nice fat check, so it's easy to watch even the trauma if they know it's going to end with
Exactly.
something great. And then others, it's a lot. It's a lot, and they went through it, so there really is no need to do a post-mortem, at least not so quickly. So, give these people some time, give them some grace. And if they never want to watch it, they don't have to. They have it in their brain. They'll be fine.
Exactly.
Something I was thinking about, I don't know, a day or two ago was like, what's BB28 going to look like? I feel like I wouldn't have really predicted much of what 27 was. The idea of a legend returning to the game wasn't on, I would say, most of our radars. But like one thing that keeps like circulating in my mind is, all right, well, 18 had the 4 returning players. Maybe we thought that there would have been more returning players, especially post 26 with Angela and Tucker. They end up on the Amazing Race. Like, at a certain point, is it the 8 seasons? At least nowadays, are we looking at more of that, or just more of the same? I don't know if there's any like major takeaways besides the continuation of the blockbuster AI arena that they seem to not be getting rid of anytime soon, that like I can really feel like I'm expecting going forward. What do you think,
Good
Sharon?
point. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. Like, I know they love a good newbie season, and that's usually what I expect. I never expect returning players these days, but the ratings were good. So I don't know. Like, if the ratings are up and you bring Rachel back, rinse and repeat almost. I don't know. So yeah, I'm actually curious to see what they do for BB28 because, the network's probably happy with how the season went. So we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the general timeline of things, it did sort of seem like it was time for us to see someone return because we hadn't seen anything since BB All Stars, and then we, the last stunt casting we did have was Suri, which is sort of outside of Big Brother. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it was definitely part of the course. I feel like sometimes it felt like we were getting returnees like back-to-back seasons in the past, or it'd be like once every 4 seasons. So if we're following the trend, maybe we can expect to see maybe a bit of a mixed cast next season. Well, who knows? But like, you know, as much as we complain about them, everybody watches it. So
Exactly.
Who are we picking for the 4 returnees? If BB28 has 4 of them, I feel like you could name 4 from Big Brother 27. And like I was just mentioning, the Tucker and Angela of it all, I feel like is not a fully closed Big Brother chapter. But do they take both of them? Do they take one of them? Is it truly just 2 from 26 and 2 from 27? Because you could fill that out really easily.
I think 23 up until present day has to be eligible, right?
I need Tiffany back.
Tiffany would be, yeah. But also
Like,
Tiffany, you know, coming right off the Traitors. But Sari came right off the Traitors to do Big Brother. So
yeah,
it's possible.
They're just tossing these house guests back and forth. Like they have no problem going on back-to-back shows. So I agree with you though, Sharon. I think Tiffany coming back would be very interesting. I think a lot of people are either going to want to watch her to prove that she was the best or watch her fail. Anybody from 24? I mean, maybe.
I mean, the only one that it would be Taylor, and she's not.
I don't think so. I think
call. She'll answer the all winners call, I hope, deep down. But
yeah, I think the next time she plays
28.
Big Brother, it would be for like a larger season. I don't think that she would join a mixed cast. I don't think that she really has to prove for that.
25. I don't see it.
I mean,
they do like Cameron.
Moving on. Hope not. But
also Michael Bruner for BB24. I could see them.
Yeah, I could.
They like these calm people.
Yeah, I could see Turner coming back.
Games again. Yeah. I just feel like 26 and 27 were such gold mines for them that they may forget a lot of 24 and 25 along the way. So even like if you're throwing Tiffany in, it's certainly like Tucker and Angela are in the mix. And then when you get to 27, I mean, obviously Keanu. Morgan now, Keanu, you know, all of these like end game players. I don't know if Vince counts in there, if the show would be considering him, if he would even be considering doing it again. But
I just wonder if Tucker would even want to come back because like he kind of famously, you know, we kind of forget about it, but he didn't want to be there half the time. So I like wonder if he would even subject himself to doing it for that long again.
So. Kind of agree. I'm not sure. And coming off the race, nothing against Tucker and Angela. I like to watch them both. I don't know if I need them right away, right after the race. Yeah. Or for anyone, but again, we'll see. I don't know. You're right, though. They're definitely on the list.
I think the move for Angela, honestly, is going to end up being Traitors sooner than later. I wouldn't be surprised.
She's out of her contract.
Season. Yeah. Just like the magic of like them finding Carolyn from Survivor, even though she's like a newer player, she's not like a legend of the show, but she was such a unique character that they can just immediately take over to NBC and say, we're going to make this our character if you're not going to put her back on one of your shows. Unless they snag up Angela with a contract early next year, I could super see Traitors grabbing her.
That's also why I'm not shocked that they grabbed her and Tucker for the race, because that locks them in a little longer. So
yeah. Well, we'll see. Between speculation on that, no Celebrity Big Brother this coming winter, probably no all winners, even though we're all just kind of like dreaming of a world where it happens and the winners are out here just teasing us with it online. But that's okay.
There's such trolls. There's such trolls.
Oh yeah, all of them. I text them. I'm like, "What's going on?" Like,
what are you doing?
And they admit it. They're trolling. They're trolls.
I mean, do I get a little excited at the idea that, you know, maybe something's going on? Yeah, but
of course we all do.
Would be
your winner. Oh, I guess it depends on who's there, but
I mean, I feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. And even if they're trolling now, I have to imagine some of them are probably texting the folks that they know on production or saying like, hey, like if you ever did do this, if Allison wanted to do this, let her know I'm available. So I feel like even if it's nothing on the books officially, there's messaging out there that suggests that if there ever was a thought, they'd be like, all right, let's do it.
I think we all have to mentally prepare ourselves that Nicole Franzel's winning that one.
No, she's not.
They won't let her. I don't think after Reindeer Games. Yeah, no. But I will say I was told that it was talked about at the finale, like on stage, like production is aware of these conversations. So yes,
Yeah.
like I think it's out there, but it's up to CBS to like just do it.
To do it. Yeah.
Which that's the hard part. But yeah, I don't think they'll let Nicole get very far, to be honest.
But also, like, just thinking on Survivor, Winners at War didn't turn out to be the magic that we wanted it to be. So
It
maybe we don't want
didn't.
this.
It didn't. But and undoubtedly, I'm sure we get the cast and everyone's just like buzzing, 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 and then 2 weeks in, we'll all have something to complain about. That's just the nature of the show. But like, you know, Big Brother, Survivor, they're different games. I don't know. I think it could be interesting. As long as actually, I was going to say as long as there's no pre-gaming, but that's going to happen. So it's like,
right.
you better
And
hope
then
your
people are
fade is in the top alliance, I guess.
We're still talking about pre-gaming from BB22. So
Yeah.
From BB7.
From BB7, yeah.
So we'll see. All right. Well, in the meantime, let's talk about probably there's some winners on this wheel who could end up in that cast theoretically. But let's get the wheel up on screen, and we're going to pull 6 more players today here with Sharon and advance 3 of them to the next round. 3 of them will stay behind. Pretty healthy amount of Big Brother 27 on the wheel here. So as always, I'm scared, but I'm ready if we're all ready.
Ready spaghetti.
All
I'm
right,
sure one of them is getting drawn. At least 2 of them, maybe.
Oh,
we'll see.
Did America really draw Corey, by the way? That was weird.
America drew Corey.
Yes. That was
second
wild.
episode of this podcast.
Yes.
Hey, what a great start. Let's go right to BB27 as is becoming tradition. And we're getting things going with Jimmy Haggerty. Jimmy.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
it's been over a year, and I still can't believe that in the second episode, with a wheel as massive as America had on her wheel, Corey came up.
That's insane.
It is truly crazy. We've had like similar-ish, like Tommy was on and Annalise came up on his episode, but and probably more, but it's just crazy. Anyway, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously no notes yet on Jimmy because season just ended. So
we gotta take time to write those wiki notes.
Yeah, give the Wikia people a little bit more time to catch up. Jimmy was somebody that I preseason was very interested to see play. I drafted him for the RHAP draft, and I do feel like he was showing bits and pieces of like, I'm gonna run this shit, especially at the end of the first episode where we already hear him sort of like throwing a little bit of shade at Rachel and her needing to be one of the first people to go. And then what do you know? The 2 of them end up actually growing very close. And so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, he's gonna be locked in. He won an HOH in week 2. He's like really ambitious with how he's deciding to like focus his game. And then one of his own allies happens to be the one that he should have been looking out for. And I remember like checking back in and stopping back down on that week and being like, what the hell? I could not understand what was going on with Mickey when she made this decision. But I do still feel like Jimmy could have been a very dangerous player had he been allowed to continue. So I kind of go back and forth with it about how much he's responsible for and how much is really just Mickey being played and allowing herself to make dumb decisions for other people.
But besides the game, Jimmy Sharon was in that house making TV moments very intentionally, which is funny that he was so linked up with Rachel, who, is not shy about the fact that she's doing the same thing when she's in the Big Brother house. He had rehearsed lines, rehearsed speeches, and all that stuff. And it's hard to not be paying attention to someone who is so obviously being a TV character more than just being a player in the house. So while the game ends up falling apart for him because of his own ally turning on him in a move that never made any sense and still never will, he still wasn't doing much to, take attention away from himself.
That's a good point. I was worried about him in the preseason with some, his interviews. I'm like, you're doing too much, sir. But there's a part of me, again, I like entertainment. I know people are like, well, he practiced that. And I don't even care. Like a lot of people do that when they go in there. And I appreciate someone who wants to bring the entertainment. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I think the Mickey of it all. It's kind of like I fault him a little bit for not picking up on some of the cues that his allies were like thinking about turning on him, and he was being a little messy, like just talking a lot. But again, it's more on Mickey in terms of like I don't think this was a great move that made any sort of sense. I don't think Jimmy was ever going to go after her in that part of the game. So yeah, I feel like I don't fault him completely for his downfall, but he was a fun character. I know he's
was
polarizing.
fun.
Listen,
Yeah.
I know, but
And then he got out of the house and was even messier than he was in the house, which is kind of crazy, but hey, go off. Yeah, I mean, I think back to like his HOH, and he had to nominate like a million people because that was the week that Keanu and Kelly both ended up with extra ways to save themselves. That was the week that Casey comes in and plays for Keanu and saves him, and then Kelly gets an extra chance at a veto and she saves herself. So next thing you know, Amy's the one that's getting evicted that week, and it's like Amy is the one who is your biggest threat in the house that needs to go. There's just so many other people that it would have made more sense. Like Jimmy's connecting with Rachel obviously has Amy, but there's also this sense in the house of like, how can we weaken Rachel while still keeping her close? We don't want her to have all these allies, so Amy's a problem there. It's like really of all, like just like getting into the future weeks when Jimmy started to be in trouble. I just remember saying to myself over and over, Amy would have had your back because Rachel has your back in such a strong way. Rachel was like the hardest pusher to keep Jimmy in the house, and Rachel would have had Amy's vote on lock probably. So that just wasn't great. Look, from an entertainment perspective, like Sharon, like you're saying, really fun, really good time with Jimmy in the house. But I wasn't surprised that it ultimately ended for him as soon as it did, even though it wasn't his fault, but it wasn't much he
It's
did to save
like
himself.
I don't think it's like 80% Mickey's fault, I would say, and 20% his. I mean, I do think that he was very visible, obviously having conversations that could look suspicious. I think obviously not doing the due diligence to check in with the people that you're aligned with can be that can cost you your game. You don't want, because it's always good to like have those stop down conversations with your alliance and be like, you might see me doing this, you might see me doing this, but just know that this is where it is. But I think Mickey was just sort of like barraged with a bunch of different messaging from people, namely Keanu, saying like, oh well, he's out here saying this is what we were having a conversation about, and it just got in her head. But I still feel like at the end of the day, Mickey should have known better. And even Ashley is telling her, like, you put him up, he was never coming for you. Like, if Ashley could understand that wasn't going to be a thing, how are you not understanding it? Like, he's braiding your hair and giving you massages. Like, that doesn't scream to me someone who's going to betray you, even if it looks like he's talking to someone who you're not previously aligned with. Why would you go with the person that you put up on the block that you wanted out, that's feeding you this information against an ally?
It was a little bit of a power trip too. Like once you get that idea of like, oh, this would be a big move, even though all the reasons are wrong, I feel like she kind of like they got her and Morgan in that room got a little high off that. They're like, oh my god, yeah, this is like a big thing. But it was mystery. It was just the reasoning wasn't sound.
Yeah.
And also real quick, I know his HOH was not the best. I agree. I give him a little grace because it was earlier in the game, because I don't think getting out Amy also was the best. So I agree with that, Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just like, in an ideal world, he would have been one of the people that at least made it to jury, but it's just like so hard for me to see, even in a world where Mickey doesn't do what she does and target him so early. I'm like, but how does he get through like the next 5 evictions to get to that point? Just because he stood out so much in the house, whether it be by himself and the theatrics that he was bringing to the house, or just the fact that he was obviously very capable at winning competitions. He was involved in so many different groupings. Triple Threat was such a big group, and it was like, there's no world that this group of 3 players, Morgan, Mickey, and Jimmy, were going to stick together all the way to the end. It was like very convenient for them to get together early, but it was just disaster from day one. And the fact that Morgan, obviously becomes the most successful player out of all of that, in hindsight, does not surprise me whatsoever. She showed the signs that she was going to like lock in much more than the other 2. And Mickey is a whole other story. So,
and she handled the betrayal of it all, with really stopping down with Mickey and be like, whoa, like what's going on? Like, I'm with you. Like she was very much like damage control, whereas Mickey was Jimmy was like deer in headlights. Like I can't believe this happened. What do I do? Like, yeah. So
I gotta say, I still have no idea what the hell that gay asp was about. I'm not to dive too much deeper into it, but
I think
I have no idea what was going on there.
This is coming from the person that did watch too many feeds, but I think it was like an inside joke that he had with Mickey at some point, and then she like kind of turned around and like used it against him. I don't think she meant it to be in that way,
Yeah.
but given some of the other things that she said, it's kind of like you can't fault people for taking it that way. Like, so it
Exactly, yeah.
it's a little dicey.
It's a little weird week to navigate there. But there's that. All right. Well, Jimmy is up on the board here. We got to find Jimmy an opponent to see who's going through to the next round. Jimmy just got here, just got onto the wheel, but he might just as quickly leave if he's matched up against a tough opponent. And it's going to be.
Oh my God.
You know.
What are we going to do here?
This is very interesting because this is coming from the guy who had a problem with Dumbledore.
I was going to say, this is a hate crime in itself that this matchup exists. Wow.
Okay.
Big Jeff Schroeder.
Am I going to be forced to be a bad gay? Like, I don't know.
You might be. Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, it depends on how much you value Jeff as a player and a person, and I don't know. How much do you like this guy?
All right. Well,
we have notes on Jeff.
We do. Okay. Jeff, in BB11, Jeff was best known for his bond and showmance with Jordan, being the second person to hold and the first to use the power of the coup d'etat, and his alliance rivalry with Russell. In week 7, Jeff backdoored Russell after being tricked by Kevin into believing Russell was targeting him. This move proved to be a mistake, as in the following week, Jeff was nominated by Kevin, who ultimately cast the tiebreaker vote to evict Jeff. He placed 5th. He returned in BB13 with Jordan. They joined the Veterans Alliance, but the coalition splintered. While Jeff was mostly in a comfortable position, an argument with his ally Shelley was the catalyst to his eventual elimination when he was nominated by Kalia and evicted. He finished in 7th place. He is currently the only house guest to win AFP in 2 different seasons.
Oh,
what
wow.
a great group of voters we had there. So let me plug recent guest of the podcast. Not that I need to be doing all the plugging here, but Taryn's book, Behind the Mirror, which is still behind my head right there. He really went into and I'm treading a careful line because I don't want to like spoil the book, but he went into a lot about what Jeff was saying and doing on the feeds, and just the way that was never making its way to the episode. And next thing you know, he's winning America's favorite player, and that's not new for this show. Hiding, bad behavior and presenting rather the opposite, a glowing edit for someone. It literally happened on Big Brother 27 that we just watched with Riley. Obviously, different degrees and all that stuff, but this was the story with Jeff. The real story was that behind the scenes on feeds, he was saying some awful shit and might not be the best person, is not the best person. But the edit portrayed him much differently. And I think that was probably similar, not just for his character, but a little bit of his gameplay. Of course, he ends up being like a golden child, whatever, of the franchise. Him and Jordan go on to be like this power couple for years to come on the show, up until I guess 2020, and they were like, actually, we don't want you anymore for our interviews, and then he threw a whole fit about it. But the character of Big Jeff, yeah, he was not happy when he got the boot.
I did not know that. I missed that.
Yeah. The character of Big Jeff in the Big Brother universe is not one that you can pretend doesn't exist in such a big way that it does. Gameplay, up to your interpretation of how much you value it. But Sharon, there is certainly a lot to get into with this guy.
I honestly don't know where to start with this. I'm so torn. It's so weird because obviously this season aired before social media. And so it's so interesting to think if that, again, I know we always play this game, but had he been, is he another Luke? Is he what happens here? Yeah. It's really hard to, I will say, so the stuff with coup d'etat, for example, that is frustrating for some people who think it's unfair, all that stuff. I'm not going to fault Jeff forgetting the coup d'etat because at the end of the day, production or whoever gave that to him or whatever that the situation was. In terms of his gameplay, I don't even know where to go with this, guys. I don't.
So I think what obviously he had going for him was he had very, very like good, strong social ties in the house. I think,
Numbers.
yeah, he had the numbers on his side. I think he sort of like
Well, once the coup d'etat came into play,
once the coup
because
d'etat came into play, he
it's like
was
once the numbers get on his side, he's
Mhm.
good, but it takes a little bit to get there. Like 13. Oh yeah, you're thrown in with a group of players that are default allies for you. That's great to have those numbers on your side. But like, I just want to distinguish that because I feel like he
yeah.
gets allies eventually, but it's not something that he comes into the game and people are immediately drawn to him. Like, we all want to work with this guy.
No, I think, and I think the fair point. I think once that coup d'etat happens, and again, I don't necessarily blame him for getting it. I
Right.
do think that he did exactly what he needed to do when he did get it, because there are some house guests that might get this kind of power and completely fumble it. He didn't. He took a surgical approach with it, took out the linchpin, got rid of Jesse. That entire side literally falls apart.
Literally. Hold a
And
funeral.
he's able to just really get his claws in and sort of run the game towards the end. And then to have the showmance with Jordan, someone who really can soften his edges, I think does wonders for his game, because like you're alluding to, Matt, he's not necessarily, I mean, as magnanimous as the edit would make you believe that he is, and is like this beautiful love story that seems to be like the overarching narrative. There is a lot of like abrasiveness there, and we see a lot more of it in BB12, maybe not so much in BB11. It's just whenever he doesn't get his way, or like he likes to approach
Yes.
every single conversation from like what he perceives to be a logical standpoint, but like he likes to twist conversations in a way that are logical for him to come out on top. And if you're not doing what it is that he wants you to do, you're deemed to be someone who doesn't know how to play. You're deemed to be someone who doesn't know what they're doing. You're dumb. There's the third. Lots of conversations about intelligence, which ironically end up in him spelling technotronics. It's just like a lot of condescension, and people just aren't with that bullshit half the time. So I think were it not for the powers that be, and were it not for the other abrasive ass personalities, because BB11 is a very loud, abrasive, angry season. Okay, and he's not the loudest and the most abrasive and the most angry, but he's up there with the big dogs. So I think that that's sort of like what had set him apart and was able to allow him to just get towards the final five or final seven, whatever it was. So
Sharon, you seem to remember that. I don't know. Fit is the right word that he threw when he got booted from interviews.
Oh,
in
I don't remember
2020.
in real time, but I watched him explain it recently on his
Okay.
podcast. I don't listen to their podcast, but I saw it come up, and I was like, oh, let me. And he explained what happened, that they, whatever whatever.
He went a different direction, and he felt like
Yeah.
he proved their loyalty after all these years, and he was like diving into like the whole like, when's enough? Like, I apologized. Like, did you? And also, but you said it all, so go find a
I
job
mean,
somewhere else.
yeah, to me, he's not a good interviewer. I'm sorry. Like, that is my issue when it comes to those interviews. Like, asking, let's not even bring up the fucking mosquito question. It's ridiculous. So I have more issues with his interviewing skills, but in the game, I definitely agree. I don't like to watch that kind of player that like bulldozes. Like, when he's good, he's good. As soon as he's not, he's really abrasive in conversations. I would not want to be like playing with him, especially because I wouldn't want to play with someone I perceive as intellectually not as smart as me, but then kind of bulldozing me. I don't like that dynamic.
Mhm.
But yeah, now I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of him and Jimmy and like what we do here. But
I know. Yeah.
he's not my favorite player, but I do think he, if I had to compare them, had more strategic, or we got to see more strategic shops. I don't know.
It's tough because Jeff in both seasons, I mean, he's not like married to Jordan yet in BB11, but they link up right away. They obviously have common interest in each other in the game. And they have these people that they want to work with, but in Big Brother 11, their side gets picked off the entire pre-jury portion of the game until the coup d'etat comes around. And then all of a sudden his game is back on top. And it seems like things really go in their direction throughout the rest of the game. Obviously he doesn't win. And that's a big obstacle, I think, that I am going to find him having more often than not, is that he is such a standout figure player in the game. I don't know like how often he is able to get to the end, because if anyone can stop him before a final four, like they're going to, and obviously that's what happens. He finishes in 5th place once and then 7th place in the second season. It's just hard for me to see him going that much further. Even like when you think of modern competitions, and like if he was thrown into like BB25, I'm like, yeah, I mean, they would be more tailored to him than some other people, but I don't even know if he's like the exact type. Like I feel like he's a little bit more, in my mind, a little bit more clumsy than, you know, your average good at comp players. So I don't know, there's a
That's a
little bit
good
of that
point.
going. But
There's
Jimmy, I don't know, we don't have like
so
the
much
biggest
that
sample
went
size.
good for him though. There's so much that went good for Jeff that he didn't necessarily cause. Like him getting that coup, not really something that he can take credit for. Shima blowing up in the way that she did. I mean, maybe like tangentially he can say, "Oh, I caused it," but that's more so her getting pissed off at production, not
Yeah,
anything
he
that you
didn't
really
want that
did.
to happen. He was happy to take the power, but he wasn't trying to
Yeah,
piss
like
her off,
that's
even though he didn't like
there's
her.
so much that like so many of the people that would have gone after him, he was able to sort of like get a trump card to take them out. Um,
And just
You're
like
also
generally him
right.
being such a
Yeah.
bad person, like, and having bad thoughts and views and all that kind of stuff. Like you live in a house with someone like that, and unless they're casting a season that is filled with people of similar minds or similar viewpoints that Jeff has, which usually is not the entire cast, I don't know how well that's going to go for him more often than not. Just the way that he was very vocal, obviously, with the hateful things that he thought. So it's
Yeah,
tough
if I
to just
dropped
say
him
it's
in a
slam dunk.
season today, I don't think he would do well. Not even just because of that. I don't think people would put up with the abrasiveness. I don't think he'd be good at comps. So yeah, it's hard to judge him in this sort of situation. And I agree about the Jordan of it all. I think she sort of it was helpful that he had her because you know, she was just like the more way more likable. So that helps.
yeah.
It's a
Mm,
big name. Obviously carries a lot of weight in the world of Big Brother. Big legacy behind him and his, you know, pretty successful finishes, all things considered. But yeah, he's a hothead, and
yeah,
just
his
because
games
he's
are
had two
really
successful runs, I
isn't
mean,
great. I mean, he took out big threats and he took out villains of the season too. I mean, that's also why people viewed him so favorably, is because he took out Jesse, he took out Russell.
Right.
But even taking out Russell wasn't the best thing for his game at the time. Like they had come to a truce. He and Russell probably could have run the game towards the end and
yeah.
probably made it to final 3 had he not taken that shot. But he got outsmarted by Kevin. So I'm just like, he chokes at the end every damn time, whether it's Kevin getting him out of here or it's the clown shoe. So
But where I'm struggling is I feel like he does show up in the game a little bit more focused on being successful in the game than I feel like Jimmy did.
that's why I'm struggling.
I think Jimmy wanted to play well and wanted to have a good season of Big Brother, but and like Sharon was saying, like a lot of people show up in the house with like the pre-rehearsed lines and all that kind of stuff. So I can't just put it on Jimmy. But look, very recently we watched him, and it was just very much that first. Like he put that first, and fighting with Keanu, just to make a big moment, even though Keanu might have turned on him or not wanted him in the house very quickly, because like not just Keanu, but anybody in that spot.
Do we
uh,
equate do we equate not equate him, but like I'm just thinking like again, I always think if they go back, is he like a Memphis kind of thing? Like is that would he end up going far?
Jeff.
Depending on the cast, like if he was in a new season, depending on who was in there, I could see both ways. Yeah, I don't
I could see.
know.
I mean, but I wonder if he, even if he sits in the final two, are the votes coming in for Jeff? I mean, is he social enough that even his allies, do they want to vote for him over? I don't know who he's sitting next to in
If
this
it's
circumstance, but if
Enzo, Memphis, Cody, California, like if it's a bunch of broy guys, like I could see him doing well. You know what I mean? I think it also depends on the cast. Um,
I feel like these are two relatively non-impressive players, and not to sound harsh towards at least Jimmy, who I had a lot of fun watching. But I don't know. It's hard for me to not be leaning Big Jeff just based on
Yeah,
success.
I think he probably. I don't know. I think I might be giving it to Jimmy here because I think I'm really thinking
Get ready
about
to
the
break that
begin.
tie, Sharon.
I'm really beginning to think about the beginning of BB11, and like you're right, Matt. Like he was not. He was off in La La Land half the time with Jordan. He did not really become a big player in the game until he got gifted that power. And again, he'd used it correctly, but he doesn't really have much to show for it. I don't think he ever gets to the end. People always want to turn on him eventually because he is so abrasive and he's so loud. And even if you're working with him, you're kind of like, "Ugh, I don't like this," which is what happened with Shelly. She was like, I just see like you only really care about Jordan. You care about you and Jordan, and I'm just going to be sitting here. So I got to take the shot while I can.
Well, to give the downside to Jimmy, thinking it through even more is, I think when he was HOH and not just, oh, he evicted Amy, but the reason why Morgan and Mickey start to feel icky towards him is because he doesn't really consult them all that week. He spends a lot of time with Catherine and Lauren, and he's trying to like expand his options. But even after that week, Catherine and Lauren aren't super pro Jimmy because they feel like, yeah, he is kind of messy. He is kind of got his hands in a bunch of different pots, and he made us feel special for his 1 week of HOH. But do we really trust him going forward? So they're both very faulty players. So I really just unfortunately
But
have
did you
to go
feel
towards the more successful.
disrespected by Jimmy afterwards, or do you just feel like sketched out? Whereas you might feel sketched out and disrespected by Jeff.
Look, I'm not happy about this vote, but I also have to keep in mind I'm probably going to be voting through other players that I really just don't agree with in life.
I mean, there's so much more
along
data
the
when it comes
way.
to Jeff, so like I
That's what
get
I was
it.
thinking. There's more to go off of in terms of strategy. We've seen him more. But if I were to drop both of them in a season now, I would bet my money on Jimmy. Yes, he's loud and all that, but people love shields these days, and I feel like Jeff Jeff isn't really a shield. Like he's not winning. He's not Keanu, I don't think. And again, I don't want to shade him, but that's where I'm struggling because I'm like, I think we have more game tape on Jeff. Um,
But a
but
lot of it is negative, as Damon's pointing out,
yeah,
so
yeah, it's not perfect by any
no,
means.
it's deep runs, but it's not wins. And it's not even like close to wins. It was, yeah, fifth place is close to third place or second place or first place, but it's not first or second. So it is tough. But I'm purely, given how many faults I see in both players, just going based off of Jimmy finishing fourth and Jeff has made it deep both times. That's really just kind of what it came down to me. Sharon, what's your gut telling you?
So who's the better player?
Who deserves to advance to round two?
Uh,
Whatever you would like that to be because of.
This is
oh
tough.
my God. This I don't know. Like
Well,
this
let me
one
give you
is
an extra second to think about it. Let me ask you, and completely distract you from this current competition.
yeah.
We recently had a competition that was Howie Gordon, Big Brother All Star, versus Vinny the Lip.
Oh. Um I would give it to Vinny.
Ultimately gave it to Vinny, but it was close. It was a
Yeah.
very tough matchup. I think we spent a half hour debating
Mm.
it. Just curious, because I don't know, while I was thinking through the Big Jeff of it all, I was kind of thinking of Howie, just like similarly, like they both go deep into their seasons. They might finish at the exact same spots. Is it fifth and seventh for both of them? Maybe. So I was kind of thinking back to him, but all right, I'll give you an extra minute. What are you thinking?
But Vinny and Jimmy aren't comparable to me. So yeah, it's tough. Oh, fuck. I feel horrible doing this, but I feel like I got to go with Jeff, and I don't want to say that. I don't know why.
I don't want to do it either.
I was going back and forth still, even after I had said Jimmy. So I think
Okay.
look, Jeff, even with the advantages that he got. Again, he still knew what was best for him. He just was bad at execution. So I think there's a world in which Jeff is a fantastic Big Brother player if he's able to tone down all the antics.
I was going to say, his reads were not terrible, if I recall. Like, he kind
No.
of knew where the house was situated.
Mm-mm.
So that also...
Just like Jimmy started the game in a good spot and fumbled it really quickly, whereas Jeff, at least in BB11, started the game in a bad spot. And I know it was the coup d'etat that kind of turned things around, but he still stayed afloat up until that point, rather than making things worse for specifically himself. I mean, yeah, there's fights and stuff along the way, but like you said, Amon, that's a very volatile season. Everybody was fighting.
Yeah, that whole house.
Everybody was. It was, yeah.
I feel more. I think I'm going with Jeff. I don't feel great about it, but I feel like that's the right move.
No, I'll be very happy when Jeff is finally out of here, but I also want it to be at a time that makes sense. And I don't know that this matchup for me, if you guys voted for it, would have been fine. But with my vote, wasn't very comfortable at this point to do so. So yeah, this is a hate crime happening in real time. Don't
support it.
All right. Well, while we try to make ourselves feel better, hopefully we can do so with the next matchup here. Player number 3 of the day.
Bye, Jimmy.
Up next
Jimmy.
for today is
no,
going to be Big Brother 19, Alex Au.
Woo! This is another loud, very angry season.
Yes. It would have been fun to get the 11 versus 19 matchup.
I know.
But it's okay. We'll go to another person who finished in, I believe, 5th place. Big Brother 19's Alex.
Alrighty then. Alex. She was best known for her alliance with Jason, a secret partnership with Paul, and her bitter rivalry with Kevin. When Jason was blindsided during the first half of the second double eviction, this left Alex as the odd one out. She managed to survive the second half by winning HOH. In the final 5, she was nominated, and Paul decided not to save her with his veto, sealing his true alliance with Josh and Christmas, betraying her. Josh cast the tiebreaker vote against her, sending her home in 5th place.
This is, I don't know if it's the OG Gamer Girl, but when everybody was talking about, Morgan's here on BB27, Gamer Girl representation, people were like, don't forget Alex.
I forgot about Alex entirely.
Me too. Sorry, Alex.
At least in like modern times, I feel like is the one who I thought of when it came to that profession coming into the game. I would say easy to forget about, unfortunately, for Alex, just because when you think of 19 at this point, like you're thinking of either the final 3, like Christmas, Josh, and Paul, or you're thinking of like the Jess and Cody factor. Everybody else kind of, for me, is just like a jumbled thing in the middle. Maybe Raven as well. You give a little bit of shine to, as we did earlier this episode. But just like the rest of the players in the game, just they're certainly a part of the story, but it's not their story. It's not their season ultimately. Big moment.
Which is crazy. It's crazy coming in 5th place and there isn't much to say. Like I very much remember her and Jason and all.
Yeah.
And I don't remember her. I mean, that cast was rough. I don't know if I'd be friends with everyone in there, but like I don't remember her like building a lot of other relationships outside that. Again, my memory is not the best, but yeah, it's interesting. She came in 5th, but I don't remember being super impressed with her game.
The only times that I remember like truly taking note of like, maybe there's something good here is because Alex works with Paul a lot, and I tend to attribute a lot of that towards Paul recognizing that this was like a good stable ally for them along the way. But early on in the game, there was like the whole weirdness with Alex and Cody needed to put Alex on the block. This is like very early on in the game. And I feel like eventually Alex was able to kind of win Cody back over, if my memory is serving correctly, which it may not be. So there were times where I feel like Alex could have been in danger 4 times on the block, but still surviving all the way to 5th place. Like feels like to me, I'm on like a very solid player that I could bet on going into some seasons, but certainly not like a top tier, had a huge resume of things to show us.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, look, she was like the number one, I don't even know. It's hard to say who was the number one Paul Evangelist was in the house, because there were so many of them just so willing to do it until it was their time to go. But I remember her sort of being like like she could have been someone in the early position because she was so close to Paul. She knew kind of what was going on and what the power structure was. I feel like there was definitely a moment in time where she could have looked at the game in front of her, seen that it was Paul versus Jess and Cody. And when Jess goes home and Cody is all by himself, that was the moment for her, or for any of them that matter, to be like, and she just didn't do it. She wins HOH. She gets Cody out. And for what? For then the cycle of duos to continue on down the line. Then it's Dominique. Then it's Mark and Elena. It's Raven and Paul. Raven and what's that child's name? Matt. Then it's you. So it's like, and I attribute a lot of it to Paul, because Paul was literally scripting the season, and they did a really good job at convincing Alex, that it's you and I, like, we're the ones that are gonna control this. And they also, like, Alex had no reason to not believe that, because she was in power for so much of it, and she and Jason were sitting pretty for so long. But why is it that when Jason goes home, Paul is not the one that you're looking at, when you know that he's been in control of everything else?
Under the spell, truly under the spell. Just like so many people were that season, but with Alex and Jason having been such big threats, it was, Paul starting to realize, oh, there's people that aren't as big of threats. Christmas, obviously, in competitions. Josh, I don't think is going to have the respect of the jury. Obviously, I need to pull these people in a little bit closer and get out the stronger players. And so that's what ends up happening with first Jason and then Alex. But along the way, just Alex gets snowed so bad. I'm reminding myself, just by looking at my notes, how badly Alex wanted Kevin out, feeling like Kevin betrayed them and all this kind of stuff. And just like Kevin was a big threat to her game. And like 2 or 3 different times towards the end game, 2 or 3 different times, she like thinks that a shot's about to be taken, and then it's flipped on her or Jason, and it's not Kevin that goes home. Next thing you know, she's gone. So definitely gets played a lot, but that's also because she was playing against a very strong player, or with a very strong player in Paul.
Yeah, I was gonna compliment, because she won when she had to, but really it was Paul sort of weaponizing her in those in the power position, and so like I don't even know how much credit I could sort of give there. I guess nominated 4 times, stayed, but like, yeah, I don't know. I was never overly impressed with her like strategic prowess. I agree. If you see Paul, you see how many allies he has. Why are you assuming that you're in the like? I mean, a lot of them should have thought that, but so I just don't fault just her. But yeah, I don't know. Depending on who she's against, I don't know.
The HOHs are to get out Dominique
first,
and then Cody, which was like anybody was going to take out Cody. You didn't have to do it. Especially when they had like some semblance of a relationship on and off throughout the season. But obviously Cody's such a social pariah in the house by the time he ends up going again. And then eventually Raven goes, where Alex puts in the double eviction, Kevin and Raven on the block, thinking again that the houses will go with her to vote out Kevin.
Yeah, that's horrible. Actually, that was bad. That was bad. Now that I recall that.
I remember her, like, I remember there were moments where Jason would say, I think it's time to take a shot at Paul. And she would flip her shit and like scold him and be like, no, like, you don't know this game like I do. Like, it was as if Paul was not allowed to betray them. It was like Paul, because of the whole friendship bracelet thing, like she took that as Bible, like, and she would not hear anything to the contrary. It was the most bizarre. She was one of the main reasons, her and Raven were one of the main reasons that there were other outlets writing about this season, talking about cult-like behavior and using it as a case study in cult-like behavior. It was like, I get this all over again just thinking about it, because she really thought that she was in so deep. And to her credit, I mean, she kind of was, but only because she was so fiercely against anybody that wouldn't be. Paul saw that and was like, all right, bet.
Yeah. That's like a perfect ally for you. The only thing I don't know how much this plays into my decision making, but like if we dropped her in a season, now, like a second season, I feel like she would do okay. Um, but I can't get over some of those moves. Yeah, not my favorite.
I mean, it's not a great showing of strategic gameplay for most of the cast in that season. Obviously, I do feel
Yeah.
like Alex, despite all of that, kind of ends up on the higher end of people that you can give any credit for, but it's because it's BB19. Like in any other world, any other season, you're talking about all of these players as what the hell are you doing? So we'll find her an opponent and we'll see how this matchup can fare for her, because I have no idea. Who's it going to be? Maybe it'll be such an obvious decision and it won't require much thinking at all. But Alex is going to be matched up here against, okay, Big Brother 21, Nick Macarone,
You guys are
aka Nick
killing me.
Macaroni.
Macaroni.
Okay. I don't know if that made it any easier, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
This one might just be as tough as the first matchup was. Very
Yeah, Sharon, what's going on? Why you got us in here over here?
middle of the road players here. But
I don't know.
won?
Okay, this is one of my least favorite seasons, so I have
This is
not
another
watched it.
loud, angry season. We got all
Yes.
three of the loud. Out of there's four that I like to say are loud and angry, and that's BB 8, BB 11, BB 19, and BB 21.
9 isn't in there.
Oh, I always forget about 9, but 9
And BB 15 is its own thing.
BB 15, yeah, BB 15 is its own brand of just disgustingness.
Yeah, I mean that's more than just loud and angry.
Yeah.
That's everything. All right, well, let me get Nick up on the screen here. By the way, Nick coming up on the wheel means there's only one player left from BB21. That's Ovi.
Yeah, wow, okay. He's been spared so far. Nick is remembered for his relationships with Isabella, Sam, and Tommy, an early member of the Grateful Alliance, the alliance that turned on Nick and Bella during his HOH reign in week 3 by voting to evict Cliff instead of Nicole, who was his target. With Bella and Sam gone, Nick settled into a comfortable position where he was able to work with the two dueling sides of the house until his game was blown up by Christy during week 8 in her successful last-ditch effort to avoid eviction. In week 9, Nick was placed on the block by Holly, and by a 5-0 vote, Nick was evicted. Nick was often observed being affectionate with Annalise and Tommy on the live feeds, and the show highlighted his romantic relationship with Catherine in the jury house.
I forgot about
I'm not
that.
going to pretend I didn't have a crush on this guy all season long. I'm not going to pretend.
What?
I'm not going to pretend.
Oh, man, no.
And then he was cuddling up with Tommy, and I said, interesting. Very interesting.
No. Stand up, Matt. Stand up.
Hey, we grow as people, right? Was he the one that was getting like critique because of his hair going into the season?
I believe so. He had like a weird
like
bowl.
I mean, you can kind of see it in this picture. He just like
It's very Julius Caesar vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I recently saw a TikTok with or some video, maybe it was Instagram, whatever, with Nick and Christy, because they both have children now. Christy, I believe, has 2 small children, babies, and Nick also and his wife have a small child. And they were just having a play date together, and they were like, look at how far we've come from Taco Tuesday all the way till now. And I was like, I feel like this makes me feel older, that it's been that long, that it's only like 5 years, but 6 years, 7 years. Oh my God.
I think
don't
it's
want
6. Yeah.
I
2019. Because I just interviewed Christy and people were not thrilled about that, by the way.
Yeah.
But and I get it. And I understand if people, still have their feelings about that. That is totally valid. I also don't always try to interview just everyone likes. I don't think that's
right. No,
my job is.
Yep.
And I like to believe in growth in people. And again, I don't know these people. Maybe there's, whatever. But that's my point of view.
I agree with that point of view. It's as a journalist or as someone who reports on what's going on in the community, you gotta go to the darkest corner sometimes. That's just how it is. So yeah. But Nick.
I mean, he played decently. He really did. He was in a good spot in between some of the warring sides, I guess you could say, at a certain point. Obviously, his game gets blown up at the time that it does, and he's scrambling. But up until that point, besides the Bella of it all, like he really kind of maintained decent relationships with just about everybody. And when people are starting to point their guns at each other, it wasn't at him at first.
Yeah, well, I mean, we thought that he was going to do so much better than what he did because, you know, he came into the game as a child therapist. So everyone's like, oh my God, this guy works with kids. And not only is he works with kids, but he's a therapist at that. Like, he's going to run circles around everybody. And then he gets in and he's a little childish, which isn't the worst thing. Like, you know, it's not bad to have a few childish qualities, but it was just to the point where it was like middle school white boy humor half the time, humping Tommy all the time, to the point where Tommy's like, okay, Nick, enough. Like, and the whole thing with Bella, the whole nasty exchange between him and Bella and
Kemi?
No, not Kemi. What is that girl's name? Oh my God.
Nicole?
Nicole.
Oh, Nicole.
I just couldn't remember who was on the other side of that. But
And Nicole is
can
talking
picture
about
it.
how much she has like anxiety and all of this stuff, and so many people were so taken aback.
Right, they
by
thought
his
she was like
behavior.
faking her anxiety.
Yeah, and I was like, why in the world? Even if you think that it's just gameplay, I don't think that it's within your position as a therapist to even really want to go to that realm.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't
just
think about that.
Avoided it entirely, but he was just so gung-ho about the fact that she's a faker and she's a liar and all this. And again, I give him a modicum of grace because it's a game, right? It's a game about lying and deception and all that. So I get it, but it just leaves a lot of nastiness in people's mouths about it. And so I feel like him being with Bella wasn't great. Like the two of them became the first ones that were ousted from Grateful because of their proximity to other people in the house. And in order to, instead of like trying to like see if they can mend the fences, they decide to just completely, well, more so Bella, they decided to completely throw Kemi to the wolves, even though they were already on the outs. Like, you have nobody now. Grateful doesn't want you back. You're also isolating yourselves from the other side of the house. Bella goes. He does sort of like put himself back in a nice little sweet spot position, but his game is so easily unearthed by Christie, and there really isn't anything else for him to fall back on. So like, I think that he has chops, but he's just not as skilled as some of the other more cutthroat players of his season, namely Christie. Because like, as soon as she did that to him, it was over. There was nothing for him to do.
She ate him up for sure. In that
She did. She ate him all the
Yeah,
way up.
and Sharon, he like got burned by Tommy when he gets evicted. I remember him being like salty as hell, especially when he sees everybody again.
That whole cast.
Because of
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I agree though. I think he has some strategic chops, but I see him going out around this time every season. Like, I feel like he wouldn't be able to finish it, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't think he made a lot of, outside of Bella, I feel like that kind of sucked him into something for a while, and I didn't see him making a lot of relationships outside that. Yeah, like, I don't think he is a terrible player, but I also I see him going out a lot in this like middle game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the social game, the social connection that he had with all of these people that we're mentioning was very solid up until this point. It really just came down to, for Christie especially, you or me. Like, I need someone to be able to throw under the bus. And obviously it was becoming easy because the tension between them at many different points, especially Taco Tuesday, ends up hitting that boiling point where it's like, all right, like this is going down. And I don't know. Look, as far as like the whininess of it all, the fight that he brought to it, like that is a pretty iconic day and moment in Big Brother history, very partially or very much in whatever due to what Nick brought to the battle versus Christie, because anybody could have just kind of been rolling over and dying on the other end of Christie yelling at you.
Manifest
he fought
truth,
back,
bro. Manifest truth.
He reminds me of any 20-something guy from Jersey. I'm from Jersey. I totally like, he's just like any other guy I know. So like, to me, that wasn't even that shocking. That's just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But it was fun to watch.
It reminds me of so many of the guys that I went to school with here in
Yes.
Philly. Just so many of the South Jersey guys. I'm just
Yep.
like, oh my God, that accent. I'm just like, that's why, like, when you said that, Matt, I was like, oh my God, no. No.
Manifest the
not
truth,
one of
bro.
that.
They love that. Yeah.
I gotta say, I really don't know which way I want to vote in this one. I don't know if anybody does know, but like for me, I'm weighing Alex, who, you know, if Alex was living in the world that she thought she was, and it was really her, Jason, and Paul going to the final three, then great, you're playing a great game, but that wasn't the reality. And again, Alex was up against a very strong player in Paul, whereas Nick was kind of playing on an even playing field throughout that cast. Ultimately, you know, Jackson and Holly are going to run the table, and Christy is a strong player as far as her ability to throw him under the bus was concerned there. And so one thing leads to another, but Christy also had the connection to Tommy that was doing a lot of work to keep them both safe at different times. So I can see positives and negatives both ways here. Does anybody feel confident in their vote?
I feel confident, I think, actually, which it might be controversial. I don't know. I actually feel like I'm picking Nick here.
Okay.
I think Alex, I don't know. And again, my memory isn't as good as your memories, but like I feel like she should have, the Paul of it all, like you got to suss that out. Like I don't know where she thought she was going after that, after Jason left. So I feel like Nick knew what was happening, and that's why he scrambled and was freaking out, because he knew he was in a bad spot with when the whole Christy of it all. So I don't know. I think I'm going Nick with this one, but I could be convinced.
He ends up getting evicted, you know, next to Christy on the block on the Holly HOH, and the votes there are Mickey, Nicole, Cliff, Tommy, and Jessica. So I'm just like wondering what votes he could have gotten. Obviously, Tommy, in a world where he's not up against Christy, there's no way that Tommy's evicting Christy at that point. Cliff is always going to evict Nick because Nick was the one who got Cliff out before Cliff comes back into the game. And then Cliff and Nicole are obviously on the same side. So that almost feels like 3 votes that are never going to go his way, but because of the circumstances. So I might be leaning Nick, but if Amon sways me towards Alex, I'll consider it.
Yeah, same. I'm like,
I know. I think I might be agreeing here. I think because when I'm thinking more and more about Nick's game, I do think that there is so much more nuance to it than Alex's allows. I think Alex just sort of the owl allows. I think she kind of just falls into line, and it's just a lot of like screaming and kicking and fighting, literally, to the end. Anyone that goes against Paul is going to hear it from her, literally, because she will scream you into the ground. Like it was just so hard to watch because we all knew that the end was coming. Like the whole the catharsis of BB19 is watching people like her go. That was the entertainment that season. Not necessarily rooting for Paul to lose, but to root for all of them to lose. And I think with at least Nick, there is some element of like, he kind of, you know, he kind of knew what the lay of the land was. He had to become very, very aware once he was ousted out of Grateful, once he knew just how badly he and Bella had fucked up with them. And
he was maneuvering a little bit more, I think.
He definitely was maneuvering a lot more. I do think the one thing that maybe he could have done a little better with this whole like Taco Tuesday of it all is, yeah, like you got called out for like being the flip-flopper. I think the best thing to do in that situation is to allow Christy to just say whatever she's going to say and not to blow up at her, because you like screaming back and saying like that she's lying, that you've never been caught in any type of situation that she's describing is only making you look even more guilty. I think back to like, you know, some of the most famous floaters ever. They didn't really give a fuck if they were being called a floater, because they would just go to whomever privately and be like, don't listen to her. But like he had to be seen as like this like
it's a Jersey thing. I'm telling you. He's like, no, you will not say this in my name. You're not dragging me through the mud. Like he couldn't help himself. But I agree with you. He should have. But
yeah, I'm gonna go. Lock it in on Nick as well. I looked back at my notes again for Alex, and the final note that I wrote when I last rewatched the season was loud and wrong all the way through. So
all the way through.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna trust my notes there. And yeah, how much further is Nick gonna make it in this competition? Probably not that much further, but
The only right thing she did was not vote for Paul.
yeah.
Wait, did she not vote for Paul?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It was Matt, Raven, Christmas. Wait, was she the last one for Paul? Maybe she did vote for Paul. I can't
feel like
remember.
I don't think
did.
so.
Or did Jason? No, Jason.
Checking in real
Jason definitely didn't vote.
time.
No.
Alex voted for Josh.
Oh,
Yeah,
who
they
voted? Who was
voted
the last
together.
one for Paul?
Christmas, Kevin,
Kevin. Okay.
and then Matt and Raven. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew Matt and Raven definitely.
No,
Those
Alex was fuming. Like
she was, but even
from the second she got told that, I can't save you, you're a big threat, and then
she was, but I remember all of us got a little bit worried because during her jury episode, when she goes to the jury and Jason specifically says to her, "You cannot vote for that motherfucker," in the end, she was like, "It's the game," and everyone was like, "No, no, 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 no!" But then she came through in the finale. So
let's see who's up next today. 2 more players to pull now that, unfortunately for Alex, she is out of the competition. Could get voted back in. But we are going to go to, really going to test your memory on this one, Sharon. Big Brother 5, Scott.
He was an early boot, right? Am I
He
wrong?
was pretty early. I think the first of the 4 horsemen to fall.
He was in the 4 Horsemen. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I remember this one.
Pull up my notes. The first thing I see is sexist 4 horsemen.
Yep. That tracks.
So that'll lead us off here. Yeah. Way back to Big Brother 5.
Alrighty. Scott began the game as a power player and key figure of the 4 Horsemen alliance with Jace. However, Scott and Jace started to rub the other house guests the wrong way due to him and Jace's cockiness and inconsiderate actions. After the 4 Horsemen and their affiliates lost power when Diane won HOH in week 4, Diane nominated Jace and Scott as they were viewed as the leaders of the 4 Horsemen and also because of her personal disdain for them. After Jace won the POV, Diane nominated Marvin as a replacement. Despite Scott's alliance voting to keep him, the other side of the house voted to evict him, evicting him in a vote of 4-3. He placed 11th.
Well, given the pattern we've had this podcast so far with Big Jeff going through, Scott's about to win this matchup. So we'll see who he gets pulled against. But 4 Horsemen, Big Brother 5. Of course, that's Scott, Jace, Cowboy, and Drew. Drew and Cowboy go on to have a little bit more success, to say the least. Although Jace, comes back a couple seasons later in contention to come back on a BB Canada season, but that didn't end up happening. Scott,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Scott left behind. Not many more opportunities, and that's for the best. Sharon, do you have any memories overall of this guy?
No. If you asked me to name the 4 Horsemen, I'd name 3 of them, and he would be the one I would forget. Sorry, Scott. And I vividly remember watching BB5 because I was a big Diane fan. But no, sorry, Scott. Sorry to this man.
It's all bad. I mean, so it's a good thing if you don't have many memories. Great. No. He was calling Diane, speaking of trailer trash.
Right. Okay, I definitely didn't like him then because I was a Diane fan. So
what else did I say? I said he was intentionally being an immature dummy because he wanted to distract people from the game, but others thought that he was extremely attention seeking. Yeah, I remember him going around the house, him and Jace. I think they did a bunch of those let's put whipped cream all over our bodies and be big dumb idiot, all that kind of stuff, and really trying to draw attention onto themselves, which is kind of the opposite of what you want to do in Big Brother. But we're early on and we're casting people that are going to go out in spectacular, glorious blaze of glory, whatever that's called. And Scott was one of those.
I mean, he came in, he followed the scripts, of aligning with the guys, trying to run the game, being.
Did he follow the script or he wrote the script? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Definitely one of the writers of the script. But he's not really able to secure any wins aside from the veto to really enact the power. So it just, and when you're so, heavily out there like that, you're, what do you want people to do when you're not in power? what do you expect them to do? Like, you're the only one left. And for you to, if I'm going to be joining an alliance full of men, I'm for damn sure not going to be the one that's out front. Nope. Nobody.
I just had to double check. He did come back actually for BB7 for a veto competition. I think it was the one where they were giving like fake news stories to the house guests. Like, is this a real thing that happened or is it not? And it was like a bunch of, I think that was when he came
familiar.
back.
Why would they
but
pick him? No offense, but like that's so random.
It was again not for good reasons, but a pretty big character, and it's around the same time. We're talking about the Howies of the
4
world.
weeks.
That, like,
yeah, you're right.
Big
I
jerk.
Fine.
is
I'm
a big
on his
character.
Twitter. I'm like scared to be reading.
Oh,
his Twitter.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
You're right. Let me
Can only
click out.
imagine.
Okay. Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, he showed up certainly as a part of what was about to be a dominant force in the game. But, you know, if anybody has any say in it outside of those four guys, and this is before, you know, Amani, we're talking about like the strategy of having the four guys come together when the brigade is going to then discover, oh, well, we can expand this further by each of us grab one extra person and bring them in. They didn't quite have that down at this point. So it was like, all right, if anybody wins power outside of you four, you're going to go on the block and one of you is going to go home. And Mr. really loud and really mean and negative and awful is going to be at the top of the
for Diane. She did it. Got him out.
Yeah.
There's not much more to the story here.
No.
OG.
I mean, he still was he was blindsided even when he went home, and I'm like, okay, yeah, how unaware can you be? Come on now.
Who was he sitting next to? Jace?
Marvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on. Sir.
Who's HOH? It was Diane's HOH. Right.
Yeah.
Jace and Scott go on the block. Jace wins the veto. Marvin goes up.
That's right. Jace was next to him.
But it was close because of the horseman votes. Drew, Michael, and Scott all vote out. Jace all vote out Marvin, and then Will, Adria, Karen, Nokomis vote out Scott. So yeah, look, if this was like one eviction further, they might have had the numbers to go all the way to the final four. And at that point, I have no idea what the game looks like. Drew is an intelligent guy, goes on to win the game. I wonder at what point naturally he would have thought to turn against Jason Scott, but we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Unless you were there. Tell us in the comments. But all right, let's find an opponent for Scott.
All righty. The last one. This went by so fast.
This should be interesting. I know it did.
No BB27 since the first pull of the episode. I wonder
I'm okay with that.
We'll manifest that.
Will it be the bookend, the sandwich?
Could be. But it's not. It's going to be an old school sandwich.
No,
an old school matchup, not a sandwich.
It was almost
Kiara. Big Brother 3 legend.
Yeah, okay. Nice little roll down memory lane at the end there. I'm not mad about it.
Recently had Danielle Reyes go through to the next round, which
I would hope
a long time coming. Well, yeah, it's just like waiting for it to actually happen, and then it feels like, okay, we can all breathe now.
Right.
Not that it was ever in danger, but one of Danielle's, I don't know, would you call her a mentee? She was working it on Kiara and Lisa throughout the season. They really trusted her.
Yeah, I think that's a appropriate name. Student.
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about Kiara.
All right, Kiara began the game as a loyal member of the Cartel Alliance, and she began a showmance with Roddy. Her game began to crumble after she failed to flip the vote to keep Eric, losing trust with many house guests, especially Lisa. Kiara won the next HOH comp and decided to turn on her and Roddy's last remaining ally, Josh, due to the secret alliance managing to convince her to. After longtime rival Amy re-entered the game and won HOH, she quickly targeted Kiara. After Kiara and Roddy failed to win the POV, they were left on the block together. Despite Danielle campaigning to keep Kiara, Amy fought back, and Kiara was evicted by a vote of 4-1, placing 8th.
Sharon, my first way that my brain goes to when I think of Kiara is how intrigued she was by Jason being a virgin.
Oh my God.
Whenever it came up,
everyone was. Yeah.
They were. But Kiara especially, who was like very open about like how sexual she was as a person, and like even all the way back then, like being free and open about that on TV. So shout out to her. But Jason, who comes in a virgin and tells people about it, and she's like, no way. No way. You're so cute. No way.
Yes, way.
I have not
Um,
watched BB3 in forever. But I will say, if I recall, you said Amy came back. Yeah, so that was kind of out of her control. Amy came back. She was kind of screwed over in that. No,
mhm.
Yeah, she
sorry, that was my
voted.
initial thought.
She didn't
Trying to
vote for
think.
Amy to come back. Did she vote for Amy to come back?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, but when Amy came back, she targeted Kiara. Is that what
Mhm.
we said? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a little bad luck there.
Yeah, Amy puts Kiara and Roddy on the block, and that is the final set of nominees. Roddy, certainly the better player between himself and Kiara, and so no surprise that he ends up staying there. I can't find immediately the vote, but I was just curious about which way everybody voted when it was. Oh wait, no, that's right here. Yeah, Kiara and Roddy are the two votes that voted for Eric to come back in the game. Everybody else voted for Amy to come
That
back
makes
in.
sense.
So she knew what was the better move for her, but did not play out. Aman, what do you have on Kiara?
I'm trying to remember just like what because Amy coming back definitely was screwed her shit up. But I'm also wondering how much further her and Roddy could have made it even if that hadn't happened. And I'm kind of like, mm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think Roddy still might go ahead of her because at least she has Danielle in her
Danielle,
corner, but it
but that
feels
didn't
like
work
they were
already.
it feels like they were kind of already in a really bad position.
All the credit goes to Danielle when it comes to Kiara's downfall, essentially because of Danielle convincing Kiara that they were voting out Lisa, or Danielle and Jason working together on whatever the exact details of that plan were, because Kiara
Mhm.
ends up voting out Lisa over Eric. Eric goes home, and Lisa finds out that Kiara was one of the votes to vote her out. And so all of a sudden, Lisa has no interest in working with Kiara going forward. Whereas that group of four, the two couples, I guess, were probably poised to be similarly as like strong going into the game as maybe the Four Horsemen were a couple of seasons later. It's like you think you have the group, but anybody that's smart enough on the outside to take some swings and crack your group wide open is going to take the opportunity to do so. And Danielle
Yeah.
obviously is that player. So
Yeah. Because she had lost a lot of like trust with Danielle and Jason and Lisa anyway towards the end of it. So I feel like in the beginning, like she was really nicely set up in the beginning, and then towards the end, when it starts to get a little bit more, people start spending that money a little bit more, and they realize just how much of a threat that duo is. It kind of becomes a little bit too juicy not to take the shot. But I feel like she's a relatively decent-ish player. I don't know, like, uh,
I
Remind
want
me, was she blindsided when she went home? Because Scott was, right? So I'm just curious, was she aware that she was going home that week?
I
I
don't.
think she was a little bit more aware than Scott, if my memory
Yeah.
serves me,
Yeah,
because she gets put up by Amy, who hated her and called her.
right.
Am I let's say it? You know what she called her? Not Kiara, but a different word mixed in there. Key blank. I'll be safer. So she was very disliked by Amy, and I think it was pretty clear that Amy wanted her to go, even though Roddy is like generally a bigger target that was sitting on the block next to her. But again, Roddy, bit of a stronger player, and Amy wanted Kiara out more than anything she wanted at all in the game. She wanted to come back in, take Kiara out, and whatever happened from there was a bonus.
Yeah.
So yeah, she gets played by Danielle quite a bit, but also
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna have to vote for her over Scott. Scott's an
Yeah, I mean,
asshole.
yeah, in that regard, I'm just trying to think of more negative things to say about her, so it feels like I'm not just. But
I was just like, I'm picking the woman. I'm sorry. No. Yeah. This is going to be honestly a biased one because I just didn't like Scott, if I recall. So I don't remember a lot of BB3. I'm one of those people. I don't have the mental capacity to go back and watch it, though I should. I do obviously like scan through when I interviewed Danielle, but Kiara was sort of like a factor in the early game, if I recall, and then sort of when she was gone, I don't remember her enough.
No,
So
that's
that,
not it.
and I remember Scott a little bit more, but not for good reasons. So I'm still going Kiara, I think, in terms of who I want to move forward.
Yeah, you have these players like Kiara, who's like a big standout in the beginning part of the game, and it really
Yeah.
is more their story, her story, than it is Danielle's. Once Danielle takes control of the game, Danielle and Jason, I should say, for the most part, then it's watching the other players either jump into their group with them, that they pull them in, or obviously players have to go along the way, and Kiara was one of those victims. So
Yeah.
can't all get to the end. But yeah, I mean, this is easy. By no means a perfect player, but she's not Scott.
Congratulations, Kiara. You're headed to
Congrats.
Hollywood.
So yeah, we probably got easier decisions along the way from where we started. Let me recap.
The first one
here.
was tough.
It was, and I still don't feel good about it. But it is what it is. We just recently, last matchup of the day, we had Kiara from Big Brother 3 go through to the next round over Scott Long from Big Brother 5, staying behind Nick Macarone, aka Nick Macaroni from BB21, also advanced in favor of BB19's Alex Au. And we did have one player from Big Brother 27 come up in this episode, Jimmy Haggerty, but he was eliminated in favor of Big Jeff Schroeder. And we all need to go take a shower after making that decision, but it's the decision that we made. Did you stick by your vote for Jimmy, Amon?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Come on, did you?
I can't change it now. It's too late now.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
too
I
late
think
now.
you might be too late now. But I think it's fair. I don't think that that's a necessarily slam dunk vote. So not being unanimous, I think makes a little bit of sense. Sharon, satisfied with today's results? It's not going to be as controversial.
I feel a little icky. I feel a little icky leaving this situation. And then also I apologize to your patrons that I don't remember Kiara that much. I remember Roddy and her, but like her game separately, it's hard for me to recall.
I just remember her and Amy fighting all the damn time.
Yeah. And also like Scott also had an enemy in Diane, and I feel like both of them kind of had sort of someone in the house that really, really disliked them. So, it was interesting. But yeah, this was fun. I think these were, I don't know, the last one I had whiplash from that. I was like, that was a lot. So, yeah.
And you were hoping not to get BB27 again after the long summer that we just had. So look, only one.
I'm not trying to rile up the fans again about BB27.
It's probably inevitable to happen elsewhere. So, doesn't need to happen here for now. But, it'll happen plenty along the way. All right. Well, Amon, anything else with these specific draws? Are you good for today?
I'm all good. I thought that we had some pretty interesting matchups and healthy comparison conversation. So I'm overall pleased. Yeah.
Say also, we still have so many patron votes out there. And when we go through like a whole episode where no patron votes come up, I'm just shocked. I'm like, the wheel's getting so much smaller. We have so many patrons that have cast a vote on players, but I guess surprisingly, no Jeff Schroeder, Alex Au, Nick Macaroni, Scott, Kiara. Nope, none of them with any patron love. But speaking of patreon.com/the diary room, if you still want to get in and get some votes on any players of your choosing before round 1 comes to an end, and we'll reset it all when we get to round 2. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can everybody find you online and anything they should be checking out?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for having me. You can check out my podcast, The Exclusive. The socials are at Exclusively Pod, or you can just search me on YouTube. I'm also regularly tweeting about Big Brother, obviously during the summer on my personal socials at Sharon Tharp. And yeah, I'm doing a little bit of Survivor. I'll probably do a little Amazing Race. CBS is being really weird about this season of Amazing Race. Not sure what's going on there. They're not giving it much press, which I find odd. Yeah, it's like a lot of our friends, my press friends, they were like, yeah, they're not doing exit interviews with a lot of people. So I don't really understand. But I'll catch up with some people like Izzy and Paige after the season. I'm sure Joseph and some others. And yeah, I'm gearing up for the Traitors. I'm very excited about. We got House of Villains. We got Survivor 50. So it's going to be a busy spring. So I'm just trying to take a little rest right now. But
100%
yeah.
justified, valid. Look, if you're not following Sharon during the season or really all the time, you're missing out on half the experience of,
Thanks,
behind the
Matt.
scenes being a Big Brother fan online. So I'm sure I'm not talking to many people when I say that, but make sure you're following Sharon. Amon, anything going on for you?
No, I'm just here rocking it with everyone at the diary room. So just keep on keeping on here.
Yeah. Again, come join us on Patreon for all of our losers brackets, all of our battle back votes. Maybe Jimmy or Alex or Scott will be voted back into the bracket. Who knows? Every 5 episodes, we have another vote to vote someone back into the diary room. So check that out on Patreon. Plus, you can get all of our episodes early and ad free over there. But otherwise, check me out on the Free Agents podcast talking about the Amazing Race and the challenge that are currently both airing. And like Sharon said, Traders is right around the corner. So that's exciting as well. But thank you again, Sharon, for joining us.
Yes.
Amon,
Thank
get us
you.
out of here.
Yes. Our thanks to the great Sharon Tharp once again for joining us. And until next time, guys, please go to the diary room.